excited and working hard. Great. I think for you, Adriana, it was the idea of being able to use the same video for different platforms. Yes, fantastic. So being able to actually leverage the time that you're spending creating that video and distributing it across the different platforms. And that's if you are using those different platforms. It's definitely not a requirement. We've still got a couple of people coming through into the call. Welcome, welcome. If you're on Facebook and you're watching live on Facebook, you're welcome to come and join us in the Zoom room. The link for the Zoom class is in a post in the announcements section inside the group there. Winnie missed part one, that's okay. So the recording, Winnie, the recording is also in the Facebook group. So are you in the Speak with Confidence for Women in Business Facebook group, Winnie? If you are, you should be able to see the recording in the announcements section. There's quite a few announcements at the moment, so you might need to scroll through and find the recording. But yeah, definitely worth going to check that out. That's not a requirement for this class to have already watched part one. That doesn't matter at all. You'll still get lots of value from this as well. Fantastic. Nira, don't hesitate, just do it. Absolutely. I love that you showed up a couple of times, Nira, into the Facebook group over the last week. It's fantastic. So we've got a couple more coming in. Hey, Kim's here. Who haven't I said hello to? Juliet's here, fantastic, yay. Christine, welcome, Christine. Wonderful, all righty. And Sarah, hi, Sarah. Sarah Suri? Is that how you pronounce it? I apologize. Sari, fantastic. Welcome. All righty. So we're going to dive in just a moment. Again, if you're watching live on Facebook, recommend coming into the Zoom room with us. You can see everybody's faces and join in with the fun. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to stay watching on Facebook. We're going to continue live streaming into the Facebook group. So let's get started with Go Live and Rise Part 2. Today, we're going to go through what I believe are the top 10 elements that you really need to look out for to improve your video results. And then we're also going to have some hot seats. So I've got the names of people who have applied. I think I've got 7 people who have applied for hot seats today. So I'll be picking those names out of a hat. Actually, I don't have a hat, so I'm going to have to improvise. But we'll be picking out a couple of names at the end of the class to go through some hot seats. And what that means is I'm going to go and we'll watch a couple of minutes of your live video in the Facebook group. And then we're going to go through and give you some live feedback. That's really going to help to improve the videos. And the types of feedback that I'm going to be looking at today is what we're going to be talking about, these 10 elements that you need to look out for to improve your videos. And I also had some questions come through during the week from part 1. So I'm going to answer some of those questions today. So Mary, Kylie, I've got your questions written down here and we'll go through those as well. In fact, some of them may even come up in the discussions today. So if I don't cover it all, please let me know and I'll make sure that you're all taken care of. So let's dive in. So essentially today, the reason that we want to be, making sure that nobody else is joining us. Okay, great. How long will it go for today, Danielle? I'm going to try and keep it at an hour. Do my best to keep it at an hour. So yeah, all good. Gotcha. So I wanted to check in. How did you go with your workbook and putting together your 30-day strategy? I know some people found it challenging. Some people are still working on it. That's totally fine. Let us know in the chat. How did you go? Have you got it all together? Let us know in the chat what's happening for you. So this was one of the slides from week 1 or the part 1 of the series where we were talking about creating our 30-day video marketing strategy. And this was the suggestion that I made, especially if you're just starting out with video, is to create one live video inside, whether it's your Facebook group or your Facebook page if you don't have a group, and to use that video, that one video, and distribute it across the different platforms if you're using those platforms. Joanne's still working, Sarah's still working on it. Okay, cool. Kylie's still working on it, but you've brainstormed a big list of topics. Fantastic. Now you need to put it together in some sort of organized plan. Great. So you can use that workbook from part 1. And again, Winnie, if you weren't on part 1, you can go ahead and download the workbook. It's in the announcement section of the Facebook page with the recording. And essentially, if you use this as your like weekly structure, you really only need 4 topics. It's really only 4 topics. So if you use this plan and you choose 4 of your most powerful topics, that's your next 30 days. That's a month of video content. So I think sometimes we overthink things. Sometimes we go, oh, I've got to do 30 days of videos. No. It's okay. If you're doing this plan, it's only 4 topics. So if we try to keep it simple, and that's my philosophy in life, keep it simple as possible. And that's how you're going to get the results. So this is a starting plan. If you're already using video and you want to ramp it up, you might do 2 a week. You might do 2 lives a week and use that content. But this is the thing, and this is why I think some people have that misconception that video does take so long to do and to implement in their business, is because we're overcomplicating it. So keep it simple. Choose a day that you're going to show up consistently live and stick to that day. Just once a week. Start with once a week. That's really all you should need to start seeing some results. And yes, it's probably not going to happen in the first week that you're going to see lots of people join you live. It will take some time. It takes time and consistency. So the biggest takeaway I would say is show up and don't give up. Don't give up too soon. Yeah, absolutely. So for me, it's taken me really, and still work in progress. I've been doing live videos for a couple of years consistently now, and really starting to see those results. And sometimes I'll do a live video and nobody shows up, and that's okay. But the reason I choose to do it live, the reason I still choose to do it live, even though it might not be the right time for everybody that I know is going to show up, or it might not be the right day or the right platform, even though I still choose to go live, because I know that the people inside my Facebook group will get a notification to say, hey, Kelly's been live. Whereas if you post a recorded video, you don't get that. Yeah. So to get that notification, I think is worth using the live function. And the other reason that I like to go live instead of doing recorded content is it's so much faster. It's so much faster. You don't have the, oh my God, no, stop, re-record. I stuffed that bit up. Oh God, let's do it again. If you're live, you don't have that option. You got to push through. And sometimes that's when the gold comes out. Sometimes when you're under pressure, right? I'm sure there's a quote about this, but they say that diamonds are made under pressure. And I truly believe that when you put yourself out there and you put yourself under that pressure, that's when, and this is what I choose to believe, is that the best of me comes out when I'm under pressure. And so if you take on that belief, oh my God, that's going to serve you so well. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. So, let's create those diamonds. I think you'll love it. So now, after this class today, I'd really encourage you to go back to that 30-day plan and to just choose 4 topics from your brainstorm. And again, if you haven't done part 1, that's absolutely fine. You can go back and find the workbook for that as well. Yeah, much prefer live. Cool. Any questions? Any questions on that? Anything coming up for you? Anything that you need me to cover? We're all good? Happy days? Facebook Live versus Instagram Live. Yeah, Danielle, I think, well, that's something that we're going to cover today in just a moment, actually, because all the different platforms, and this really comes back to, I think it might actually be my first point. Hold on a second. Let's see. Oh, it's not. It's number 2. So these are the 10 elements, but I will get to that question, Danielle. These are the 10 elements that I truly believe that are going to make the biggest difference when it comes to your video content. So make sure you're writing some notes. In the workbook, I think I put a little checklist thing, so you can write in there if you like. But the very first thing is, what is the outcome of the video? And is that clear? Is the outcome of the video really clear? So, you know, we talked about last week, we talked about making sure that we have a call to action in each video, even if it's not a buy now or, hey, come and join me on this, you know, call or class or whatever. Even if it's not a direct call to action, we're still having some kind of call to action that is asking for your audience to do something. So we want to know, is that clear? So at the end of your video, are you asking for engagement? Are you asking for them to do something? Do they know what they have to do because of your video? It could simply be, hey, what did you learn? If you're sharing an educational piece, it might simply be, hey, what did you learn on the class today? I'd love to know. What's your key takeaway? So is the outcome of the video clear? We always want to get our audience to interact as much as possible. Because not only is that going to help our audience, because especially if you're doing an educational piece, we want to cement that learning, and we really want them to get the most out of the video. But also it's going to help you, because the more comments that you get on your videos, the more people, the more it is spread across social media, and the more, like, Facebook and Instagram will push out those videos that have comments on them. So it's a win-win, right? So is the outcome of the video clear? Now, this is how I plan my video content, is I always start with the outcome. What do I want my audience to do? What do I want them to do because of this video? And if you don't have an idea of an outcome for the video, I'd suggest not doing it. Wait until you have an outcome, so you know exactly what outcome that you want from that video, whether it is engagement, whether it is sharing a tip, whether it is a conversion video, so you want somebody to buy. Whatever that outcome is, it's got to be really clear. And you've got to be really clear on the outcome. And so when I'm giving feedback, that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for. Are you clear on that outcome? What is the purpose of this video? Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up or a yes, absolutely. Yeah, cool. Wonderful. So the next part is, who is the audience? Who is your audience? And are you clear on who your audience is? So thinking about, and this again comes back from part one, is getting really clear on who your audience are. Do you know specifically what they want to be hearing? And thinking about that customer journey, are they in the very beginning phases of, you know, learning about you, of figuring out what they need to know from you? Where are they at in that customer journey? So who is your audience? And is that really clear? When you're starting your video, is it clear? Is that person, that one ideal client, are they going to know immediately that this video is for them? And how do they know that? Is it in the subject line? Is it in the title? Now, when we do the hot seats a little bit later in the class, I'm going to give you some real life examples of how I give this feedback, so that you can start taking it away for your own videos. And instead of watching your videos back and going, oh gosh, I just hate the way I look. Oh no, I shouldn't have worn that top, or, you know, being really critical of ourselves, instead of doing that, we can start giving ourselves feedback based on these things that are actually going to improve your videos. Because when we're really critical of ourselves, it's not going to help anyone. It's not going to help, certainly not going to help us. And it's not going to help our audience either. So when we're giving ourselves feedback from these 10 main items, then that's really going to help you to improve those videos. Trust that makes sense. Joanne, sometimes I cover the screen and just listen to the words. Yeah, cool, awesome. That's a really good way to start. If you don't like looking back at yourself, and sometimes in the beginning, it is hard. It's hard to give yourself feedback, especially if you're not used to watching yourself on camera or listening to your voice. it can be really challenging. And one of my rules is that you should never watch your video back within the first 24 hours. In that first 24 hours, what you should be focusing on is congratulating yourself for showing up, is giving yourself a pat on the back and saying, hey, you know what, you showed up, you did it, you made it happen. And I know, Danielle, you've had this experience before where you jump off the live and you think, oh God, that was awful. I don't know what I did. I stuffed up. And then when you do watch it back, you're like, oh, actually, it wasn't that bad. So sometimes in the moment, you're like, oh God, that was no good at all. But then when you come back with a clear mind, then you can watch it objectively and see that actually it wasn't so bad. All right, next point. So where are the audience at in their stage of awareness for this particular video? So if you're watching a video back, and let's say, for example, let's use an example of you've done a video in your Facebook group, okay? And in your Facebook group, if somebody has joined your Facebook group, they have opted in and said, yes, I want to be a part of this. I need what it is that you're offering in this Facebook group. So what that means is that they're a warm audience member. They have said yes to being part of your group and to be in your space. And so they haven't just met you. Well, maybe they have if they've just joined the group, but if you're doing a video inside the Facebook group, inside your Facebook group, it's likely that you're talking to predominantly warm audience members as opposed to cold audience members. So cold audience members are people who may be scrolling through Facebook and your video pops up on a Facebook page. So they haven't opted into your group yet, but they're just scrolling through Facebook or Instagram and they see a video of yours. And they've never heard or seen you before. That's a cold audience member. So we really need to know where our audience is at their stage of awareness. So are they aware of who you are and what you do, or are they not yet? Is that making sense? Thumbs up? Yes. Cool. I can't see everybody, but I can see a few. So awesome. The next part, now this is where Danielle, your question will come into play. Is it the right platform? So again, this is going to come back to your audience. Are your audience hanging out on Instagram? Are your audience hanging out on Facebook? Are they on both? Sometimes they may be on both. Yeah, yours is split. Yeah, absolutely. Are they hanging out on LinkedIn? So wherever your audience is hanging out, that's where you should be hanging out. That's where you should be posting your videos and creating the most video content. Me personally, I think it's important to have a presence on the platforms where your audience are. So for example, even if I know my audience are predominantly on LinkedIn, I'm still going to have a Facebook page and I'm still going to create content on a Facebook page because, you know, I know some people are probably going to be on Facebook and LinkedIn as well. How do you really know, Sarah? Great question. Market research. Market research is what I would suggest, is asking some of your clients. And if you've got an email list, which I imagine that you have through the products that you sell and things like that, I would suggest sending out an email. Hey, I'm really curious. I've got a 60-second survey that I'd love you to complete. And that's going to help me get to know you. And I would ask, which platform do you use the most? The best way to find out these things is to ask, because you're going to get the right answer. The data never lies. Oh God, never thought I'd be saying that. But the data never lies. So does that make sense? Yeah, cool. Then the next thing I look at is, what's the engagement like? What's the engagement like? Is there any engagement? Is it one of those videos that you've put out and it's just kind of gone quiet? Oh, Tanya's here. I'm just going to admit Tanya into the room. So what's the engagement like? Is there a little bit of engagement, or is there heaps of engagement? And if there's not a lot of engagement, that can come down to so many different factors. It could be, yes, it could be the time of day. It could be the topic that you've chosen. It could be that either you didn't have a headline or that your headline was off. There's so many different factors that are going to increase or decrease your engagement. So it could be that you didn't ask for engagement. In fact, I think that's the next one. There we go. Did you ask for engagement? This is so important, and it's really easy to forget, especially if you haven't done a lot of video, because it's weird. It's weird. It's not like an actual conversation where you're getting that real-time feedback. Is engagement greatest when you put up a new profile? That is an interesting question, Nira. Jury's out on that one.
I had 100 people. Yeah, I had 100 people respond to a update on my profile, and I had no idea anyone was looking at my profile.
Oh, great. Oh, so do you mean your Facebook profile, not a page?
Yep, just my profile. Yeah, that's just the picture that it shows of me.
Yeah, great point. So absolutely. So there's a bit of a difference with the algorithm when it comes to your Facebook profile, which is just your personal profile, as opposed to a Facebook page. So a Facebook profile, generally speaking, will get more engagement. Generally speaking. But technically, the Facebook rules are that Facebook profiles are not necessarily to be used for business. So there's kind of a bit of a fine line there when it comes to Facebook. But if you do live videos on your Facebook profile, you are likely to get more engagement. You just do have to be a little bit careful there with, not getting kicked off the platform for doing the wrong things and for, Tanya, I have got a similar experience. Anytime I update a profile picture image, there's a huge uplift engagement. Yeah, absolutely. So there's a few little tweaks there in the Facebook profile algorithm. So sometimes if you post a more personal photo, you tend to get more engagement and things like that. But what I've found is when I go live on my personal profile, which I don't tend to do a lot because I try to keep that more for family and friends and things like that. But if I do, I generally do get a lot more engagement. Mary, asking for engagement is a poll, call to action, etc. Yeah, so how do you ask for engagement? So it might be when you're starting your live video, it might be saying, talking about your hook, what it is that you're going to be talking about. Hey, are you somebody who is struggling with procrastination? Are you finding that you're not showing up on video? So asking a question, let me know in the comments. So when you ask for engagement, it is saying things like, hey, I'd love to know, let me know in the comments. Is this something that you're struggling with? Give me a thumbs up or a love heart or something like that. That's how you can start asking for engagement. And you really do need to ask for engagement. Not a lot of people will just, type in that they'll be listening. Yeah. So definitely asking for that. Hey, pop it in the comments. Let me know. I'd love to hear your opinions, things like that. That's how you ask for engagement. So yeah, not necessarily a poll, but a call to action. Absolutely. Danielle, my Facebook business page has a low engagement. I get better engagement on personal page. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So with the business page, Facebook are prioritizing your personal page as opposed to your business page because they want you to pay for ads, basically, on your business page. And that's why Facebook groups are so popular now, is because Facebook are leaning towards encouraging community. That's the outcome that they're going for. So if you've got a community and you're building a community, so within a Facebook group, then they're going to promote those posts above your business profile page. That's a benefit of having a group. Joanne, I do my lives on my page that go over automatically to my personal profile. Okay, cool. Yeah. So Joanne, absolutely, you can do that. You can share from your page to your personal profile. That's absolutely a way you can do that. Really good tip. So does that make sense? When you're asking for engagement, you want to be saying, hey, let me know in the comments. Let me know. Pop in an emoji or whatever it is, and asking for those comments. Give me a like, give me a love heart, all those things. This next one I think is really important. Are you looking at the camera? Are you looking at the camera? I know, it's weird. It's so strange. And it's hard in the beginning. But once you get the hang of it, you'll start to feel more natural about it. So imagining that your camera is your ideal client. Who is it that you're talking to? Yes, it's weird. I know it's weird. This is why practice is so important. So looking at that camera, because when you don't look at the camera, when you're looking at the screen, your eye level drops. And we can, people can tell that you're looking at yourself. People can tell that you're looking at yourself on the screen. So whether in the beginning, if you do want to find like a sticky note or something and cover your own face, you can do that just to kind of get into the habit of it. Oh, I've got somebody else coming in. Yeah, so you can cover it now if you'd like. Otherwise, but the thing is, if you do cover it, you won't be able to see any comments that come through. So there's kind of pros and cons with that. Danielle, I tend to look up while I'm thinking about what to say. Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, if you're not looking at the camera the whole time, that's totally fine. But just when you, for the most part, you want to be looking at the camera as much as possible. It's okay if you look away every now and again or look down at some notes. You can mention that as well. Hey, I've got some notes here. I want to make sure that I'm covering absolutely everything and giving you the most value that I can. So I've got some notes. I might be looking down at my notes, those kinds of things. Definitely say that. And because that's going to build trust with your audience when you're telling them what's going on. If you're looking off because, I don't know, one of your kids is doing something in the background, say, oh gosh, Harley's over there, he's doing something weird, I've just got to make sure he's okay. Something like that. Just say that instead of like looking off and, you know, not mentioning it. Cool. So that's really important. Looking at the camera and using that camera, imagining that it is your ideal client, that's going to bring out the warmth and bring on that connection within your audience. Cool? Making sense? Yes. Oh, hey, Trish, you got no sound. Oh, boo. Maybe, does everybody else have sound? Okay, I'm getting nods. Maybe it's a log back out, log back in. I had to do that this morning on another Zoom call. Give it a go. Okay, next part. What's the energy like? And is it a match for your audience? And this is something that you might, in the beginning, you might need to play around with a bit. And I loved, Adriana, your video in the group over the last couple of days. I thought your energy was really beautiful and such a match for your audience. So for those of you who don't know Adriana's audience, she works with new mums. And so that energy, or that really soft, nurturing energy, is so beautiful. And I think is such a match for your audience. So I can't remember if I spoke about this on the last class or not. But anyway, you know, when it comes to energy, if you think of people like, you know, the obvious one is Tony Robbins, who's like really rah, 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 really high energy. You don't have to be like that. Ooh, it looks like I've frozen. Have I frozen? Did I?
Yeah. Oh, you.
I'm back. Oh no.
Might as well say hi to everybody. Hi.
Hi, I'm sorry. My internet just died. That's no good. Well, it didn't die, it just bugged out for a moment. Let me just reshare my screen. What was I saying? Energy. We were talking about energy, weren't we? Actually, I'm not going to share my screen just for a second, just in case the internet drops again. So energy, when it comes to that beautiful energy, we want it to be a match for our audience. So if your audience is not into the rah, 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 you know, that really high Tony Robbins energy, I call it that because he's the obvious choice. It doesn't have to be like that. Because if your audience are new mums and they're sort of in that space of uncertainty, then a softer, calmer energy is what they're going to be attracted to. So you're seeing how everything is coming back to who is your audience and what do they want? That's the most important thing. I'm so pleased that this call didn't just end for everybody before when my internet dropped out. I am going to start resharing the screen. So hopefully it'll be good again now. Sometimes that happens. So is the audience a match? Is your energy a match for your audience? Love it. The next part is, how confident are you in delivering your message? How confident are you in delivering that message? Have you practiced enough? Different countries have different energy, right? Nira, yeah, definitely. I would agree with that, Nira. I think the US market is definitely more attracted to that really high, hypey energy. They're sort of more, they're more conditioned in that sort of way. So I would agree. I think the Australian market is a little bit more like chilled and relaxed. Very good point. Yeah. But how confident are you in delivering your message? Is it something that you've been practicing? And this is what I want you to be looking out for and thinking about when you're giving yourself that feedback. Hey, am I feeling confident enough to share this message? Or do I need to go away and practice talking about that a little bit more before I do another video? And you'll know when you watch that video back, you'll think, oh, yeah, I kind of stumbled a little bit there. And I think it was because I wasn't really confident or I didn't really practice enough sharing that part of the message. And again, in the beginning, you will feel a little bit less confident in your message until you keep practicing, until you keep showing up. Has anyone found that so far, that when you're recording your videos or when you're going live, you feel like some parts are more comfortable than others? Because you feel like you talk about the same thing, even if it's just with one-on-one conversations or conversations with clients and things like that, that you can feel like, yeah, I'm really confident talking about that because I talk about that all the time. But other things, you're like, oh, I think I need to practice that. Tanya, absolutely. I find that I get more wordy if I'm not 100% confident about a point. Yes, really great point. And what happens is when we get really wordy, and we kind of go off on tangents and do that kind of thing, we lose our audience's attention. So it is important to be really confident in your message. You feel much more confident face-to-face than on video? Yeah, Nira, absolutely. So video is a skill. Being on video is a skill, and it's something that you need to practice. So don't for a second think that anybody starts out feeling really confident on camera. It's a skill that you can practice and learn and increase that confidence. Practicing is how you get there. Mary, I find I need to separate from my inhibitions and connect with the subject. Yes, fantastic. I love that, Mary. Absolutely. So, and this is where we really want to focus on, instead of focusing on ourselves, we want to focus on our audience. So instead of going, oh gosh, I'm not sure if I am really confident in this message right now, or I'm not really sure if this is the right thing I should be sharing. Instead of doing that, focus on our audience and focus on connecting with them, asking them. If you've got people on live, ask them a question. Hey, let me know in the comments. I want to have a conversation with you. And treat it more like a conversation than I'm doing a presentation. Because there's such a difference. And I think with Facebook Lives, that's the beauty of it, because you can create those connections. You can have a conversation. Yes, it's a bit weird, and there is a delay with the comments coming through, and you'll notice that if you do start to get lots of engagement going live, there is a bit of a delay, and it is simply practicing responding and kind of filling in some of that space while people are typing in their comments and while it's coming through to you. Because it's about maybe a 2 or 3 second delay. It's not huge, but when you're live on video, it can feel huge. Does anybody else find that when they've got comments coming through? Yeah. Danielle, it's the pause factor. Time feels forever when you try to get back on topic. Yeah, it does. Especially when you're on live, it feels like if you're pausing, it's like time stops. But it's not like that for your audience. And I think that's the key to remember. Cool. Trish, so true. Pigeonholing it into something formal totally stumps you. Yeah. So if it's more like a conversation and you're focusing on your ideal clients or your ideal client, because you can't see anybody, it's different when you're on a Zoom call, but when you're on live and you can't see anybody, but you have to imagine that one person and that we're having that conversation with that one person. Nira, would a 2-minute live be better than a 5-minute video if you can say what you want in 2 minutes? Yeah, Nira, absolutely. Absolutely. Our attention span is so short. The faster you can get your message out there, the better. If you can say what you need to say in 30 seconds, do that. The only thing with live video is that you don't have the chance to have people on live, really, if you're only doing 30 seconds or 2 minutes, because it does take a little bit of time for people to go, Nira's gone live, I'm going to go and join her. But that's not something that holds me back, because I think, they're still going to get that notification that I've gone live. That's all that really matters for me. And I'm going to repurpose that content anyway. So it's not a waste of time for me. So the faster you can get your message out there, the better, I believe. But in saying that, and I think this is a really good point to bring your question up, Kylie, is you were told that your educational piece should be about 10 minutes long with 4 to 5 headlines. Look, again, it's going to come back to your audience. And I think that's the key message here, is the more you know your audience, the more you know how long they're willing to hang around. And also, if that your audience have a really big problem and you can solve that problem, then they're going to stay around. They're going to stick around for an hour or 2. I've been on classes that go for 2 hours or 3 hours because I want the solution. So if you can provide a solution that your audience wants, they're going to stick around. And I wouldn't say, it's got to be at the 10-minute mark or it's got to be at the 20-minute mark. The benefits of doing an educational piece for 10 minutes live is that you will generally have more people show up live, because you're giving them that time to go, great, Kylie's gone live, I'm going to go and join her. Or Kylie's gone live and I can see the start of that topic. That's really of interest to me. I want to go and learn that. Yeah, cool. Does that answer your question, Kylie? Yeah, awesome. And with the 4 to 5 headlines, so Kylie asked, she's been told to have 4 to 5 headlines when it comes to a live video. I think having just the one headline, which is really catchy and problem and solution driven, and then some benefit points is really beneficial. Because sometimes when you're scrolling through Facebook and you see a title that is of interest to you, that's when you're going to go and join live. So you really want to have that title, and you get the option to put in the title before you press the go live button. Trust that makes sense. Okay, next one. Okay, this is the last one. Where are you distributing your content? So this is the last piece of feedback that I will give for people is, are you taking that one video that you've done and are you cutting it up, or are you distributing that content, even if you're not editing it? You don't necessarily have to, but using that piece of content to leverage your time and popping it on the different platforms where you do have a presence. So if you've got a presence on Facebook and Instagram and you go live on Facebook, then moving that over to Instagram as well. Checking the chat. I've been told to stay on point and not break and talk to other people. In the beginning, Kylie, I would recommend trying to stay on point. But once you get more comfortable, you will find that you're able to have conversations and that will actually increase your connection with your audience. So I would say a little bit of yes and a little bit of, with practice, definitely engage with your audience. Adriana, I still can't see comments until after I finish the live. Need to figure out how to see the comments while doing the live. Yeah, Adriana, we might have a bit of a practice with that. So in the Facebook group, if you pop a post up about 5 minutes before you're going live, and we'll make sure that a couple of people can join you so that you can practice that and get those settings sorted. Cool. If you're doing live on a laptop versus phone, can you see comments? You should be able to, yeah. Yeah, Danielle, you should be able to. They'll just come up on the side. I don't tend to use my computer for lives because I prefer the phone. And I just think it's got a higher quality of video. That's the main reason I use my phone. Pressure free. Trish, I'm not sure what that means, but yes, no pressure. I'm not sure, but can you download the video later on? Yes, you can, absolutely. I've got a bit of a tutorial on that in the Facebook group, so I'll tag you in that, Adriana. Juliet, I'm posting in 4 different platforms and looking into Pinterest next. Cool, yes. Pinterest is awesome, especially for your type of work, Juliet, your cards, it'll do really well. So I've done some videos and they're on my group, but not sure how to get them out of there and edit onto other platforms. Yeah,
just ignore that. That's
sorry.
I said just ignore that because you just answered that question.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, Trish, for the time to do things and the length of videos. Yes, take the pressure off. Don't worry about those things. Don't worry about how long it is. Yes, Facebook will say, oh, your videos should be 3 to 5 minutes. That's the preferred length. They will tell you that. But I think that that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is that you're showing up consistently and that you're sharing your message in a way that is going to connect with your audience. And that you're using your content on different platforms. I'm really aware of the time here because I want to get to these hot seats. When I did a live on Sunday, someone came on saying, put the camera on for audience. Okay, yeah, you can ask people to come into your live if you want to, Mary. That's what that function is. Yeah. So don't worry about that. I wouldn't invite people to come into your lives until you really want to do an interview or something. And even then, when I've tried it, it's not been the best experience, to be quite honest. Okay, so before we get to the hot seats, what have been your biggest takeaways so far from the training series? Pop into the comments what you've noticed from today, from part 1. I want to know what you've loved, what you're really keen to now take away from this class and use giving yourself feedback to your videos. Let us know in the chat. And I'm going to come back to those takeaways in just a moment. I'm scrunching up the names for the hot seat. Exciting. And while you're all typing into the comments, I do just want to take a quick break and tell you a little bit about my new program, which is Convert on Camera, which is opening up today. Very exciting. So Convert on Camera is all about how to capture your audience's attention and really connect with them, and then also learn how to convert them through video content, because we all know video is so powerful when it comes to that connection and building trust with our audience. So it's about how we can build that in really genuinely into our process so that we can make the most of the videos that we're doing. It's also about how to attract our dream clients that already know that they need you in their life. We want to be hitting them, we want to be connecting with them when they're ready for what you have to offer. It's also about discovering the 5 types of video content that you're really going to need in your business so that you can connect with and engage with your audience, and also how to share your story in a way that showcases your expertise. Because I know that every single person on this class has an amazing amount of experience Even though right now you might feel like, oh God, do my audience really want to hear what I have to say? They do. And they really need to hear your expertise. And that's what this program is all about. So I can only cover so much in 2 hours. And I know we've covered a lot, right? And especially in part 1, there was so much. And every step in part 1 is covered in way more detail in this program. So I wanted to give you the big picture so that you can see where you can take this. And then the Convert on Camera program goes into so much more detail. So also it's unlocking the power of the positive persuasion method. I love that name. And that's my signature method to really bring in different ways that you can use your language to inspire people to take action, to inspire your potential customers to take action in a way that feels natural and authentic. So in the beginning right now, you might feel weird on camera. I imagine that if you're just starting out, you probably do. And that's normal. It's 100% normal. But once you do practice, and that's why I've designed this program, so that you can jump into the Facebook group and practice your videos and share your content, practice sharing your message before you take it out into your platforms. It's also about how to identify the best conversion strategy for your dream clients so that you can communicate with them in a way that lights them up. It's not all about us. It's about them, and we want to make it about them. And then finally, it's about developing a video plan that plays across every single element. So last week we spoke about every element of our business system and how we can incorporate video into that conversion strategy in every single step. So it's not just about doing Facebook Lives or Instagram Lives, it's also incorporating video into our emails, into the email sequences that we send out, because that's how we're going to build those relationships so much faster. So I trust that makes sense. And I am going to move on to the hot seats in just a moment. Oh, so yeah, the program is 6 modules and it's released weekly. So instead of just a 4-week program, I've designed this as a 6-week program because I feel like we need a little bit of extra time. And it really is that step-by-step guide to help you to attract your ideal clients, but also connect with them in a way that's genuine. And that's what people want right now. We don't want the fake. We want the real. We want to see you. And, if that means your ideal clients want to see you without makeup and without being really dressed up, which I imagine for some of you, that's what they want to see. Adriana, new mums don't necessarily want to listen to people that are covered with makeup. And yeah, no, they don't want that because they're probably sitting at home in their trackies feeling, they're, either pregnant or just given birth. They don't feel great. They don't want to see somebody that's super dolled up and made up. They want to see you and that beautiful natural nature. So that's what Convert on Camera is all about. There's also some bonuses. I'm going to pop a link in so that you can go through what's included. There's so much included in the program. I'm really excited about it. But if it's not for you right now, totally cool. They're the bonuses. Half day Convert on Camera. Camera Confidence Workshop is coming up soon as well. So I'll pop that into the chat so that you can check out, there's also video prompts and how to outsource, all that kind of stuff. You'll love it. If it's where you're at, you'll love it. And there's also a VIP option as well. So you can just do the independent study or you can do a VIP option as well, which is for monthly payments. So I'll pop that into the chat, that link into the chat for you if you want to check it out. And, I'd love for, I have so much fun on these calls. So if any of you wonderful women would like to join me, I'd love to have you on board. So I'm going to come back to the hot seats now. Oh, we've got so much happening in the chat. I love this. I'm just catching up on the chat, starting with the outcome, clear call to action. I'm going to draw a hot seat name out now. Oh. Shuffling, 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 shuffling. Can you see that? Danielle Street, come on down.
Yay.
Awesome, fantastic. Alrighty, I'm going to come back to the chat a little bit later because I know a couple of you will have to leave at 12 o'clock. So I really want to start giving Danielle this feedback. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop sharing for just a second so that I can jump onto your video, Danielle. I am still screen sharing. That is good because I just want a different tab there. We're going to come back into Facebook and I'm going to search for Danielle's name in the Facebook group. Is there a particular video, Danielle, that you wanted some feedback on?
I think you've given me feedback on the one where I'm wearing blue. So maybe the one where I'm just really natural off the cuff, the last one.
Yes, I
think
liked
I'm
that
wearing
one.
Wearing white.
Yeah, awesome. Where is it? That one?
Oh, now we can't find it. No, that's a salsa.
You've
Oh,
done
I've
so
got it
many
right.
videos. I love it.
No. Why is it not coming up, Kelly?
I don't know. I'll go back into the discussion.
Can you select most recent and then, because if it was it one of the last ones, Danielle?
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Maybe if you go back in there where you were before and put most recent.
Oh, you saw that too. I saw that just as I was getting out.
Yes.
Recent button. That'll be helpful to know. Thank you, Luna.
Oh, it's Adriana. That's my daughter who
Oh,
hijacks my computer regularly. I should change that.
Most recent.
recent. Oh my God, it's a life-changing moment.
There you are.
That's it.
That's it. All right. So we're going to quickly watch Danielle's video. So
I'm going to watch it as well. God.
just a couple of minutes. This is great.
I'm just popping back from my lockdown walk. So no makeup, Sunday relaxation, washed the hair today, very relaxed kind of look. And just thought I'd pop in and talk about, lockdown fatigue and see how you're all going. It's a funny thing, it's kind of the same routine day in, day out, but, we're missing family and friends. And it was my husband's son's birthday today. He turned 40, and so we had to Zoom. So I couldn't celebrate that big special birthday. My sister turned 50 last year, and her birthday was last week, and we couldn't celebrate that 50th this year. And, it's kind of just getting a little bit long. But there are some benefits in lockdown, and some of them, I'm taking my glasses off because they're fogging up because I'm still holding my walk. But some of the benefits in lockdown are, I lost my train of thought. What are the benefits? The benefits of lockdown are reflection. And I think a lot of people are starting to think about, what it is that they really want in their lives at the moment. And, what's their life purpose and how can they bring more of what they love into their lives. And
okay, I'm going to pause it there, Danielle. So I've got a couple of questions for you before I give some feedback. What was the purpose of this particular video?
One, putting myself out there was the big one. That was the main purpose. And two, to talk about my gifts, which was really uncomfortable. And three, to add a bit of support. So there was a few different things, and I'm talking more about my coaching, which I don't normally do. So I shared more about, why, I can support people and along those lines, which I haven't really done in the past because I'm getting more confident in my message. But it was an impromptu kind of post.
Yeah, cool. And so on that, how confident did you feel with this video in sharing your message and sharing about your services?
It's still, that bit uncomfortable kind of, I don't like the selling. I'm happy to talk about a topic, but, when I start using that language, what can I help you with? All that kind of stuff. Or, do you find yourself saying, the suggestions you make? I still feel uncomfortable with that, and that needs practice, a lot of practice. It's that confidence with the languaging that I'm really missing. I don't mind being on video. I love being on video. I found my groove for that, but sometimes it's like, oh yeah, I've got this really great idea, but I really want to talk now.
Well, I think your energy really came out in that video. It was really relaxed and genuine and just, hey, I want to just share some tips because this is how I'm feeling. It's from the heart. You can absolutely tell that. I love that, you don't have makeup on, you've been for a walk. You are simply just being you and sharing some absolute value in this video. I have watched the full thing, but I just wanted to do a quick snippet for everybody else. So, one thing I would suggest is the headline here. How are you doing in lockdown? So one of the tools that I use for headlines is called Headline Analyzer Share Through.
Ooh.
And if you've never used that tool, I highly recommend, because it will, if you pop your headline into this, it's kind of like it'll generate some ideas for you and help you see how your headline sort of compares to others, how well it is, all that kind of stuff. Googling, yes, yeah, definitely Google it. Headline Analyzer Share Through, and it will give you a score. It will give you a rating on how good your headline is and tell you what are the things that you can improve on it. So highly recommend using that tool, because you might want to add some benefit, a little bit of benefit into that headline as well. So it might be, hey, this is my number one tip for lockdown, or something like that. So it suggests that you are actually giving value rather than just checking in. Because if you think about from your audience's perspective, and this is what I want everyone to start thinking about when they're giving themselves feedback, is think about from your audience's perspective. If they're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram and they see a headline, is it strong enough for them to stop? Is it strong enough for them to stop and think, I need to know that?
Mm-hmm.
And also, how do they know it's for them? And this is something that you want to try and weave as much as possible into your headline. So it might be, so for me, often I will use women in business, especially if this is for a cold audience. So for you, Danielle, this video, I imagine, is on your Facebook page. Is that right? Yes.
Yes. Facebook and Insta. I'm everywhere.
Yeah, cool. So often at the moment, you're targeting a colder audience,
yes,
because you haven't yet built that community. So thinking about that colder audience, how are they going to know that this video is specifically for them? And you can do that either in your headline. So you might have like a really catchy, hooky headline that people actually want to hear about. And then in the next line, you might talk about, how will they know? What is that indicator for them that this video is designed specifically for them? And this is why it's so important to know who your ideal client is.
So can you give an example of that subheader that you're mentioning, please?
Yeah, so tell me a little bit more about your ideal clients.
So my clients are women that are looking to make change in their lives, to have more confidence and clarity, and also just to revisit their purpose and live a life that they love.
Yeah, are they working in corporate?
Some are, some aren't. I've got a very diverse following in my community. So the consistency is that most of them are working towards building confidence, being seen, having an authentic voice, diving deeper into connection, that kind of thing. So that's the common thread.
Yeah, so for this particular post, and if anybody else does have any ideas for Danielle, you can pop it into the chat. Adriana's just put a question in, can you change the headline later on? Yes, you can, absolutely.
Oh, good tip, thank you.
Definitely you can. So you can go back now and you can edit the post and you can change the headline. So I would use something like, and we can do a bit of brainstorming, but something like my number one tip for surviving lockdown for busy women, or something like that. What is that indicator to them that it's actually for them? So Adriana, for you, it's probably slightly easier because you have such a specific ideal client. And Danielle, what I would recommend is get really specific, choose that ideal client. And even if you do have at the moment a range of people that are coming to you, choose that one person. Create that actual avatar and decide, is she corporate? Super helpful. Will you be talking about tips like this in your program? Yes, absolutely. So in the VIP program, Trish, this is the kinds of things that we'll be doing in the program, is going through specifically every member of the program's videos. Not so much in the independent study, but definitely the VIP program. Great question.
I think with my audience, I've got a split. So I've got the coaching audiences and then the ones that will come to my mindfulness sessions.
Yep.
So they're quite similar needs, but some might be working, some might be retired. So that's the breadth. So it's a little bit tricky sometimes to niche it. I keep trying.
Yeah, definitely. So it might just be that one one sort of common thread. What's the most common thread that's coming through? And that's what you can use in your headlines.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Kim, will we learn to know our client avatar? Oh, in the Convert on Camera program, it's all in there. Absolutely. Yeah. It's so much to cover in in one class, and I want to try and give you the really like nitty-gritty bits here. So yeah, but definitely in the program, Kim. Do you then make different videos for each? Good question. I would just start with one ideal client and make every video for them. Yeah. So the more you can nail it down, the easier it's going to be to attract the right audience for you.
So can I just ask another quick question? So today this is all about looks, and it's all about me. So today I've got straight hair. My hair looks very dark. Over there, it looks very blonde. On my website, I've got professional photos that are 2 years ago, so they're not that old, or 3 years maybe a bit old. They are getting old. But I'm very blonde in that. And someone was saying to me, oh, you should get updated photos for your website because people aren't going to recognize you. I mean, do I really need that?
I would say that's not a super priority at the moment.
Great. That's all I needed for that answer.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. I mean, in a photo shoot, you're going to look a bit different because you are, you've got night makeup on. And I think people recognize that. But when you're showing up on video, this is the really important part of video, is because in a photo, they're amazing and you definitely need those for your business and a great part of your business strategy, branding photography. But video allows you to connect in a way that's so much more genuine.
Yeah, and more current too.
Yeah.
I suppose that the languaging parts, the great tips about the header, because I always struggle with that, and it can feel a bit wishy-washy, and as you presented it is, but it's that tying it in. Because if I start with, are you looking for, did you know, do you want, it just feels like sales pitch to me, and it doesn't sit. So
yeah,
that's probably my icky point.
Yeah. And again, that will come with practice. The reason I always start with, I usually use my headline or a question or something like that at the start of my videos, because I want that very first part to be like, oh yes, this is what I need right now. Because I'm also thinking about the people who aren't necessarily joining me live, but are watching afterwards, because most people will watch your video afterwards.
I find that I don't get a lot of engagement in my video. People often don't comment. They might like it, but then they'll speak to me randomly later and go, oh yeah, you said something about that in your video. So people are watching.
Yeah,
people are watching.
Yeah,
not engaging on the platform.
Yeah, so that is something definitely to work on again, Danielle, just like we were talking about, asking for the engagement.
Yeah.
And even if you've got nobody on live, still ask for engagement, because like we know, most people are going to be watching afterwards. So it is still saying, hey, if you're watching the replay, let me know afterwards. Hashtag replay into the comments and let me know that you're watching afterwards. And bring them into the conversation too.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. I always forget about that.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many things to remember. And each time you do a video, you'll be like, oh yes, I got that one. I did that. So now that you've got that checklist, now you can start giving yourself feedback and go, yes, okay, I've got to remember next time to ask for engagement. Or this video, I'm going to focus on, my headline. This video, I'm really going to focus on this thing. And you just pick one thing to focus on each time, and that's how you're going to improve.
Yeah, that's great advice. One thing at a time. You know how multi-passionate I am. So one thing at a time is a perfect reminder for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of us struggle with that. So I know we've gone over 12 o'clock, but if you're cool to keep staying on, I do want to do a couple more hot seats and give some feedback. So if you're able to stick around for a little bit longer, please do. If you do have to head off, that's not a problem. It was wonderful to have you on the class today. But yeah, if you do have to head off.
Sorry, I'm going to have to go because I did sneakily tell the meeting I'm going to be late in between on Teams. So many things going on my screen. Thank you so much, Kelly.
You're welcome.
Today, appreciate and being in the hot seat. I'm so grateful, and thank you everyone for your feedback as well. Have a great day, everyone. See you.
You're welcome, Danielle. Thank you. I'm just going to catch up with a couple of comments here. Juliet dedicates 2 days a week for selling. The rest of the week you provide value to your audience. That way you don't feel bad about pushing. Yeah, Wonderful. So it is about finding that balance between giving value and then also sharing what it is you have to offer and selling. Trust that makes sense. Darcy, hi, nice to see you here. No worries about being late, not a problem. Did I speak about the program? I don't know if you missed that part. I may have just spoken about it briefly, so you can go back and watch that, Darcy. I'll pop in a link. I haven't done that yet, have I? Pop in a link in just a moment, and all the details are on the page anyway. Trish, loving it. Awesome. Winnie, no, not a problem at all. You're so welcome. I'm going to pick out the next hot seat. What have I got here? Ooh, Mary Anderson. Are you still on the call, Mary? If you are, come off mute.
Hi, everyone.
Hi,
Hi, Kelly.
Mary. How you doing?
Good, I'm excited.
Yay. All right, I'm going to pop your name in here. And did you have a particular video that you wanted me to have a look at? Because I know you did a couple as well.
I probably would go to the first one because I specifically have chosen that one because when I'm going to my audience for the first time, I think that's probably a good one to nitpick.
Cool. So is that this one
No,
or this one?
not that one. I think I did 3.
This one.
Yeah, 3 or 4 I did.
I think that's it.
Yep,
Yep.
I can't remember, but anyway.
Oh, good. Oh, you've commented on a lot. Let me just take away most recent. That didn't work this time. Okay, cool. And can you tell us a little bit about your audience, Mary?
Well, I've got 2 different audiences, so I suppose I've got to really be mindful of, so I feel like I'm flipping from one to the other. So my audience, I've got a hairdressing business and my other audience is a coaching, counselling business. So I've been working on my hairdressing business this last couple of days.
Yep.
So I thought I'd just concentrate on one for the moment and then I'm going to, once I've got myself sorted, I'll go on to the next audience.
Okay. Awesome.
So with my hairdressing business, I'm still incorporating my coaching and counselling business because at the moment I just feel everybody is feeling flat. And as you said about community, I'm really community driven. So all my messages have been about supporting community.
Okay, cool. So this particular video, which one is this one?
So this one was just talking about, I think, who I am, introducing myself, I think, really.
Okay. Yeah, cool. All right, let's have a quick look.
Hello there. Well, since last Friday, I have taken the plunge and decided to do a few more lives on my business page. I have thrown out the perfect scenario, and if I make mistakes, well, I make mistakes. I suppose it shows the human side of me. So I just finished a live on a relaxation technique, and I have put myself out there in such a big way that is beyond my recognition that I've done it. As I said the other day, I when I want to do something, there are the things that stop me, those critical thoughts, my mindset. But really, I know deep down I want to do it. So that's what I have done. I have taken the plunge and I have stepped out of my comfort zone. Thank you to Kelly and this group. You've all been an inspiration with your videos, and I look forward to our Wednesday session to grow and nurture my confidence even further. So I look forward to Wednesday. But I may go live again between now and then, not sure, but let's just see what happens.
Okay, cool. So this might not have been the video that you were talking about.
No, it wasn't.
That's totally
okay.
fine. That's all good because I can give you feedback on this one as well, because what I'm noticing is that your energy is really soft and calm, one of the things that I will say is I think in some of the other videos we saw a little bit more personality, and I think this one was just a, you know, hey, this is what I'm up to, and that's totally fine. What I have noticed is you have a beautiful smile, and we want to see this more.
Okay.
We want to see your smile more. Because that's with your energy. That's how you show your energy and show your passion, because I can tell you are really passionate. Just you talking about just now who your clients, your 2 businesses and how you're bringing them together. I can tell that you're passionate about that. And so we want to be able to see that. And a really great way to be able to show it is to smile.
Mhm.
And not creepy smile, but, you know, just your normal smile. Because when you smile, that energy comes through even further.
Yep.
I don't know
So-
what it is. I'm sure there's some kind of psychological thing about a smile, but
No, that's great. But Kelly, I'm just finding why are my videos distorting the sound? Because that's what I heard. I don't know if that's what you heard.
yeah. So that, I think that's just my internet at the moment.
No, I'm finding even on my salon one, it's coming through distorted.
Oh, okay. It may be your internet connection then.
So it would be an internet connection issue.
Yeah, that's what I would suggest. The other thing that you could try, because sometimes I found with Facebook Lives, sometimes it's a bit glitchy, and sometimes it will say, oh no, there's a broadcast error or something like that. What I find to fix that is to just close Facebook, close the app, and reopen it again.
Okay.
So you might try that. If you sort of know that you're in a bit of a spot where you can get dodgy internet reception, try and have a bit of a play around with finding some really good reception for when you are going to go live.
Okay.
Because that will impact it, absolutely. I know sometimes if I'm in a dodgy internet spot, sometimes the video will cut out, and, you know, on the recording there'll be 30 seconds less than what I'd done, or a little part in the middle will cut out. So the internet connection will definitely affect that.
Okay.
The other thing that I would suggest is, and I'm just going to go back and have a look at some of your other videos there, is the headlines. So again, just as we was,
I don't know if I've done any.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So do you know how to put in a headline?
Yeah, I have done it on my business page.
Cool, awesome.
Yes, I have done that this week.
Yeah, so as Adriana mentioned, you can go back and change them as well.
Yep.
So use that tool, that Headline Analyzer share through tool. So for example, this video where the headline is feeling blessed. And again, this is in the Speak with Confidence group. So it may just be about talking to us and practicing. So that's fine. What I would suggest is when you do them on your personal page or your business page, is to get a really catchy headline. You know, who specifically are you talking to in the video? So just like we spoke about with Danielle, and get that really catchy headline going. So it really identifies who this video is for.
Great.
Yeah. And again, so I can just notice here, so this freeze frame, I know, I'm sorry, freeze frames are awful. And I think that was one of Kylie's questions as well. Can you change the freeze frame? Unfortunately on Facebook you can't, on Instagram you can. But yeah, can you see your eye level here on the video?
Yep.
So that eye level looks like you're looking at yourself as opposed to the camera. But if we play it for a second, yeah, so can you see your eye level there? It just looks like you're looking at the screen as opposed to at the camera.
Okay.
So if you just raise your eye level just slightly to the tiny little dot on the camera,
yep,
that will change your connection with your audience.
Sure.
So you can tell, like right now I'm looking at the camera. So if you look at my face on the screen, I'm looking at the camera right now.
Yep.
If I look at the screen, this is the difference.
Yes, I can
So
see that.
it's a big difference. And especially when you're doing lives, it makes a difference.
Yep.
Cool. So
can I just ask you a question? Because I'm looking at purchasing a stand and a ring.
Yep.
Is there any size ring that you suggest? Like there's 11 inches, there's 13, there's 18. What would your suggestion be?
Well, the bigger the ring light, the more it's going to light you up. But it also depends on your space as well. So I've got a 13-inch and that's plenty.
Yep.
Yeah, but like if you're going to be doing long shots and you want your whole body in, you're going to need a bigger light. But if you're mainly just talking to the camera, it's just your face.
Yep.
13 inches heaps.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. All righty. We've got one more hot seat to go. Any other questions, Mary, or is that giving you something to go with?
No, I think that's it. If I recap, I'll just send you something, but that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, cool. Oh, Joanne's just put in a really good tip. I learned that the freeze frame is the first image. It is. So start with your eyes up. Yes. So imagine that when you press that live button, somebody's taking a photo of you. And then you'll get a nice good freeze frame. That one's for you, Kylie.
Sorry about that. I've tried, and sometimes it's when you first start, and there's been times where it's done at 30 seconds in, and at that 30 seconds, I'm doing something different. So I found that, like, I just given up trying to get the perfect freeze frame because it was doing my head in. Maybe they've changed it. Like, this was quite a few months ago, because it's always changing. Like, you can't keep up, really.
Yeah, good point. And look, I think, Kylie, those kinds of things, those little details, they're probably not the ones that are going to like change your results rapidly. And I would think, you know, sometimes I like the ones where it's an awful freeze frame because I can make fun of myself. And, you know, I know that that's taking myself lightly, and, you know, I want to give that to my audience. And sometimes I'll edit the caption at the top saying, oh gosh, look at that freeze frame or something like that, and just have a bit of a laugh at myself, because, you know, if you can take yourself lightly, then that's going to help with your audience. That's going to help build that connection. And, you know, we're all human. We like seeing, you know, we like making fun of each other and all that kind of stuff. So make the most of it. Will the ring light stop glasses reflection? No, Joanne, it will not. Sorry. I'm yet to find a solution for the people with glasses. I really, it's really tough. I'm sorry. All right, I've got one more. Oh, hello, Kylie. Kylie Crawford, come on down. Okay, let me search for yours.
I'll say mine's easy. I only did the one.
You only did the one. Great.
Yep.
No, I love that you're all getting involved and jumping in. Okay, there we are. So I'm going to skip in a little bit because I know you sort of started your pitch a little bit into the video. You said hello for a minute. No worries, Trish. Thanks for coming. All right.
Hello, everybody. So my name's Kylie, and I was...
Okay, I'm just going to skip in a tiny bit. My internet does not love being on Zoom.
It'd be easy after that. And so I thought what I could do is I could come on, say who I am and what I do. If you're a business owner, you will know that we get stumped when people ask us that question. So what do you do? And we're like, how do I say this? How do I word this? How do I come across without being salesy? And all of these things. And it's something I have been practicing, like an elevator pitch or just getting doing. And so it was a really good time to really look at like my mission statement, my elevator pitch, my business values, and all of those things. And so I'm just going to say it, and here it is. So hi, I'm Kylie from Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. And I still haven't distractions. I'm in the car, obviously. I'm just finished a walk at the park. And so I'm Kylie, and I'm a holistic healer, and I help to empower women to find the ability to self-heal themselves through and with the natural gifts and elements of Mother Earth. And so I'm a Reiki practitioner. I am a chakra specialist. I specialize in personalized crystal assessments, which is super exciting, and next to nobody does it. And I get a lot of inquiries about that. And I work with essential oils. I also do meditation, and what's the last one? Because there's a list of oracle cards as well. And so it was really hard for me to find a way to put all of that into one sentence because there were so many different modalities.
Okay, cool, awesome. I think we've got enough to go with, Kylie. So how did you feel in presenting that?
I was actually thinking about it because it's been playing on the back of my mind, and I'm like, I think that's only the second or third time I've ever done a live outside my bedroom office space. And I'm like, crap, there's distractions, there's peripheral vision. Like when you're at home, you're so much more focused, and like that's attached to the window, like where you put your GPS, so that's where the phone is. So it's very different to how I usually use my little stand. And so it was like, and I practiced my like who I am, what I do to myself, but to no one else. So it was like the first time articulating it, and I'm like, yeah, definitely still have to practice that confidence. Like I know who I am and what I do to myself, but to actually portray it to someone else. So it was like a massive learning. Like I've learned so many things about myself through doing that.
Yeah, awesome. Absolutely. I think when it comes to the elevator pitch and describing what it is that you do specifically, the more you practice that, the better you're going to get at it. So if you don't do it regularly, you will feel a little bit stilted and funny doing it on a live. So this is where, and it's great to be able to practice these things because you do go, oh God, actually, I really need to practice this. So keep showing up in the group and just give it a go. It's like the more you say it, the more it will sound more natural to you, and the more it will come across more natural to you, to everybody else on video. That's the biggest thing I think for you to work on at the moment, is just getting really clear on that message. So it might also be about writing it out. Sometimes I find that it's that connection between your like pen to paper and your brain. When you write it out, write it out like 10 times. Write it out, talk it out loud, write it down, talk it out loud, because this is one of the most important things that you're going to need to share on video.
Yeah.
That's for everyone. It's, what is it that you do? And also in networking events and things like that, it's the most important thing. So the more confident you are in describing that or languaging it, the more confident you're going to sound.
And that's one thing, like being in Melbourne, we'll know, like we're like the most locked down state. Those interactions are very minimal these days, and the ones that I have only just started going back to are now online because in person is like back in lockdown. And like, yeah, I've only like met you like recently, like in the last week, 2 weeks. So this whole is very new and I'm super excited about it. Can I just ask for those that are on the call, the way I describe what I do, do I need to find a different way? Because like I said, there's so many different mentalities. It's really hard to like get it in a quick, punchy way that people get intrigued by it. Because like I used to say I'm a Reiki practitioner, I do crystals, and like that's such a long list, and like,
Yeah. If anybody does have any ideas for Kylie, pop them into the chat. What I would suggest, Kylie, is, and I know Danielle might be a good person to talk to about this as well, because she uses lots of different modalities as well. And I think one of the things that she's brought into it is landing on that specific problem. And not necessarily, people aren't necessarily interested in the vehicle so much as the solution. So the crystals and the Reiki and all of that, that's the vehicle, how you're delivering that solution. But what is the outcome that they're after? So if you can connect with the outcome and you can show that you can provide that solution, then that's going to be a lot more powerful than, because a lot of people that they won't know necessarily the benefits of crystals or unless you're educating them, they're not going to necessarily know that straight away. So if you can focus on the problem and the solution, they're going to immediately identify with that. And it won't matter how that solution is delivered, whether it is oracle cards or Reiki or crystals or all the modalities, because that's a vehicle. Sarah, the holistic healer is very interesting. It invites more questions and curiosity. Yeah, it does. Absolutely. I like that as a title. That's a really cool title. Yeah, and so when you're talking about it, really focusing on, you know, what specific problems do you solve? And you might have a couple of different videos where you talk about those specific problems.
Okay.
So what would be an example of a problem that you solve for your audience? Or for your ideal clients? What are the problems that people come to you with? Is it like they're kind of stuck, or they've got some sort of pain, physical pain, or?
That's the easiest one to describe, is the ones that come with physical pain for the Reiki healing services.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the easiest one to
energy
probably
blocks,
work on.
Sarah said.
Yeah, that's very much the chakras.
Yep. So it could be also identifying what are the symptoms. So how are those problems showing up for them? Maybe it's, you know, they're finding, I don't know the answer to this, so I'm just making it up, but you'll know what the answer is. But it could be like, you know, is it you're experiencing headaches, or they're experiencing, you know, lots of confusion around a certain thing. You know, what are the symptoms that are showing up for them?
Yeah. Okay.
That they're going to say, oh yes, that's me. Yeah. Is that helpful?
Very.
Cool. Symptoms are great hooks. Elevator pitch, formula idea. I help the ideal client to be, do, have what clients want, so that, yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Darcy, for putting that in. That's a really great formula for the elevator pitch. Love it. Cool. So I'm going to open up, I'm going to stop sharing for now, and I'm going to open up for any other questions. I know that there were some people that had to go. Sorry for going half an hour over. If there's any particular questions, please let me know, pop it into the chat. You can take yourself off mute if you've got any questions. Happy to hang around for a little bit longer.
I have a question, Kelly.
Yeah, Darcy, go for it.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. First of all, I do want to say that I am so inspired by everybody in this group who who put their videos in. Mine yesterday, again, total newbie really to video. Even though I do a lot of visible kinds of things, but video has not been one of them. So, but everybody just seems like they just like rip off, like in terms of speaking, right? Just riff and rip whatever's coming to mind. And it's like, oh my gosh, that is so amazing. And I really did mean it with Joanne. She had to leave, where she's like, recording and driving. I'm like, what? How do you do that? So it's so good. It's just, yeah. So I'm highly confident that at some point I'll be able to step into this. That said, I'm new, meaning I don't have an offer yet for a coaching program. I work in a coaching company right now as a coach, and I have a therapy practice that I run. I don't really work in it anymore. And my third job that I'm about to create is a coaching program for women specifically. And so, but I have zero presence. So it's like, I feel like I'm in a conversation with you here and everybody here who are several steps ahead of me, who already kind of have something going on. And my 30-day plan, I think, was just around just showing up and creating a bit of a presence so that maybe I can start to seed my program at some point, but I'm not sure if I'm thinking about it the right way, or just like, how do I get started?
Absolutely. That's what I would suggest, is to start creating that presence, because once you've built the presence, then you're going to find it so much easier when you do have an offer to put it out there. So it might be talking about, and again, you'll have to do the same thing as Kylie, figure out those problems and the symptoms of the problems, so that your ideal client will know exactly, yes, I'm meant to be in this space. I'm meant to be watching this video. This video is made for me. So you'll definitely have to, and I would recommend, even before you create a program, is to dial in that ideal client. So really get to know who they are, what their problems are, and really specifically. And then talk, and just
start speaking into it.
Yeah.
Take the leap and just start speaking into it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I would suggest. And the more you do it, the more confident you're going to become, and the better your videos will become. In the beginning, you might not have people watch live, and that's okay. You're still showing up, and look, people will still watch after you've recorded it live. But if you keep showing up and you keep showing up consistently, so, pick a day, even if it's just one day a week in the beginning, that's something. Yeah.
And last question, is there a recommended length of time for video?
Yeah, look, Facebook will tell you 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
But again, I did say earlier in the class, if you've got a solution to your ideal client's problem, they're going to stick around. So I wouldn't worry too much about timeframes. The faster you can get your message out there generally is going to be better. But in saying that, if you're doing educational pieces and you've got a solution to a problem that people want to know the solution to, then they'll stick around for an hour or 2 or 3 if they really want that. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah, but you want to have a bit of a mix. You want some short forms, some long forms, because people will be in different phases of their awareness of the problem and how you can help them with the problem. No worries, Juliet. Thanks for coming.
Kalia, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, with the videos that we've created already, because, like I've created a few videos and some of them didn't get really any traction, and then others have done really well. And my guess is a lot of the videos that I posted earlier, maybe, I posted them in the group when there weren't many people in the group, so they wouldn't have been seen. But is there an opportunity now, even though it's maybe months later, to reshare that, or even if we were talking about changing the caption or whatever the tagline, what is it called? I can't remember what was it.
The headline. Yeah,
the headline.
Yeah.
Does that then bring it back to their attention? If you change those things, is it like as if you were reposting it? Is that what happens?
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Highly recommend doing that, Adriana. Is download them, download the videos onto your laptop and then reshare. So what I would recommend when you reshare is to download and upload the video again.
Okay.
So upload it as a new post.
Okay.
Rather than resharing.
Would you say, oh, this is an old video from a while ago. Or just
you can, or
am I just assuming no one saw it in the first place, so it doesn't matter?
I would change the headline first and really grab that hook into the headline. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Is there a link to? Oh yes. Sorry, I was going to post that in before. Hold on. There we go. You'll get some emails about that as well, so that's all good. Yeah, so definitely repurpose as much content as possible because you want to save your time.
Yeah, and you'll post the video you said you had, the tutorial on how to.
I'll tag you in that.
Take the video. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Once you know how to do it, it's super easy.
Thank you.
Mary, you're on mute there.
There. Just on Adriana's question, if you're downloading it, so then it's going as a video, not a live, of course. That's how I'm.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So instead of it just being live on Facebook, it will show up just as a recorded video.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And 2 more questions. Just the question I asked, when's the best time during the day to go live? Like on my Facebook, I think it says around 11 o'clock is a good time to schedule the ones
posts?
I do schedule.
Yeah.
And at night time. So what is it?
Well, what I found, and again, it's got to come back to your audience. So when are they online? And so thinking about, are they mums? Are they probably like cooking dinner or getting kids ready for bed at say 7 o'clock in the evening? Maybe it's better to do it later. So really thinking about your ideal client in that sense. The other thing that you can do is look at your insights. So looking at your insights on Facebook and on Instagram and seeing when it is the most active time.
Okay.
That it's not really something that I put a lot of emphasis on. For me personally, I go live when it suits me.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I know that I'm going to be more able to give value and that kind of thing when I'm in the right space. Yeah, that's where I'm at with times. And
Yep. So my next question is, I don't know much about IGTV. Like, I've heard about it. I've heard YouTube. I've heard Pinterest. I've heard them all. How do I get myself there? Like, I'm doing Facebook confidently now. My next step is to do Insta confidently.
Yep.
How do I do it probably in a quicker way? The tools and the resources.
Good question. So with Instagram, I mean, any platform, there's a lot to learn. I would just start slowly and do one thing each week. Focus on that one thing. So, for example, don't open an Instagram account, a LinkedIn account, and a Pinterest account all at the same time. So now you've got your Facebook up and running well. Okay, you know your audience are also on Instagram. Let's start an Instagram account now. How can you move the content that you've already got on Facebook over to Instagram as well? That's what I would suggest. Focus on one thing at a time. I mean, there's about 1 billion courses that will show you Instagram and every platform. Whereas the programs that I do are more holistic in that sense. We're talking about video and how you can use them on the different platforms.
So what you suggested in part 1 was that we take little tape snippets and upload it. Yep. You wouldn't separately do a live on Insta if you've done Facebook?
Look, sometimes I do, but if you're really like strapped for time, repurposing content is the easiest way to do it and the fastest way.
Okay.
Just to start. Yeah. I mean, sometimes what I'll do, so on the day that I do a live on Facebook, I might do a live on Facebook and then go straight to Instagram and go, oh, okay, I'll do something slightly similar on Instagram. Yeah. And I'll do it that way just to do the live function.
So you don't think the audience will kind of get a bit sick of the same no? Okay. Because that's probably in the back of my mind. And then I think, Mary, it's only a couple of minutes. What do you think? What are you going on about?
And if you think about your audience, think about how you use social media. Do you see the same things coming up on Instagram and Facebook? Or are you not yet on Instagram?
I'm not as much on Instagram, but no, I think my answer would be no. And again, it's only a minute or two. It's not as if it's a whole day worth of content. Exactly.
And people will scroll past.
Yeah.
If they think, oh, yeah, I've seen that. They won't know whether they might have think, oh yeah, I saw that on Instagram, or it won't. It's not a big deal. And also, the reason that you want to do multiple platforms is because some people are going to be more active on Facebook, some are going to be more active on Instagram, and so they're likely to see the video on the platform that they're most active on.
Yep. Cool. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other questions? All good? Happy days? Thanks for joining me live today. I love it. Awesome. I'm going to finish up the call now, and I'm going to post the recording onto the same page that the part 1 recording is on. So if you missed part 1, this is for everyone watching live as well on Facebook, then I'll post that into the Facebook group as well. Everything's in the announcements section in the Facebook group. So if you need to find a link or something, it's all in there. You might just need to scroll down because there's a few announcements at the moment.
Right.
Awesome. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
I'll see you soon. Bye.